everyone, this is Miss S from Excelsior Charter School, and today we're going to be covering Geometry, Quarter 3, Quiz 1. As always, we have changed the values a little bit so that's not exact. So here's a question. A 9-inch model is made of a 12-foot long car. What is the ratio of the length of the car to the length of the model? Remember, it's important to be consistent, so they want the length of the car over the length of the model, like this, but it's also important to be consistent with our units. So we can change the feet into inches or the inches into feet. I'm going to go ahead and change the 12 feet into inches by multiplying it by 12. And we get 144 inches for the car over 9 inches for the model. Then we just have to reduce this fraction, which reduces to 16 over 1. So the ratio is 16 inches for the car to 1 inch for the model. Our next question says in triangle ABC, AB is 12, AC is 18, and angle A is 41 degrees. In triangle DEF, DE is 14, DF is 21, and angle D is 41 degrees. They want to know if the triangles are similar, and if so, they want the similarity ratio. I went ahead and drew the triangles out with A and D each being 41 degrees, making the assumption that these are similar at this point. I added the values for AB being 12 and AC being 18. I just did that based on how they look, and I'll mirror that on the blue, just like that. And now I'll check to see if the similarity ratios are the same. I've used the 12 and the 14 here, which reduces to 6 over 7. And in the red, the 18 and the 21 also reduces to 6 over 7, so we can safely say that these are similar and their similarity ratio is 6 to 7. Our next question says a parallelogram has sides of 7 1/4 inches and 4 1/2 inches. What is the ratio in whole numbers of the length to the width? So I turned these into a fraction. You could also make them decimals if you want. And then to get rid of the decimals, I would just have to move the decimal point over 2 spots. And we get 725 over 450, and then we just reduce. And we can't reduce any further than 29 over 18, so that's the ratio. For our next one, a model of a mountain is built on a scale of 1 inch to 10,000 feet. How high would a model of Mount Everest be, which is the tallest mountain in the world, if that mountain is 29,032 feet high? So I broke this just so that you can see another way to do this. I drew our Mount Everest, so to speak, and I broke it into 3 pieces. This bottom piece here is 10,000 feet, and then the middle piece here is another 10,000 feet, and we are just shy of a third 10,000 feet. In fact, we're sitting at 9,032 feet. So if we were going to make a model, this would be 1 inch, here would be a 2nd inch, and this space up here would be just shy of an inch, or actually 0.9032 of an inch. And if we add all those together, 1 plus 1 plus 0.9 would get you 2.9 rounded to the nearest tenth. Our next question asks us to solve the proportion, so we're going to use the cross product property and multiply across like this and then solve for y. So that's what happens when we multiply across, and now we're going to solve this for y. And when we do, what we get is y equals 12. Our next question wants to know which is the correct proportion for these 2 triangles. There are many different ways that you can do this. Let's take a look at some. I've highlighted the bottoms in red and the sides in blue, and you can make a proportion out of that, just like that. Remember to be consistent. Here I've highlighted the large triangle in green and the small triangle in black. And here's the proportion for that one. Just remember to be consistent, side, bottom for the big triangle and side, bottom for the small triangle. Here I've done the sides in gray and the bottoms in red, and I've written that proportion here in gray and red, starting with the big triangle over the small triangle on the side, and then the big triangle over the small triangle on the bottom. And you can do any version of any of these. Remember, you can flip them and do the reciprocals as long as you're consistent and flip and do the reciprocals here. You can work the top and the bottom as long as you're consistent and start from the same side. Let's say we want to start from this side over here. We could do 2 over 6, which equals x over 8. All of those are accurate. All right, your next one says that EFGH is similar to IGKL. EH is 4, GH is 8, KL is 61, and they want us to find IL. So we can use a proportion here as well. So I used my EH here as 4, and my GH here is 8. The EH is in green, and the GH is in red. So they also give us KL here, which is in the same position as the red GH was in, so we'll put 61 here. And for IL, it's in the same position as the green, so we will put that in the same position there. And then we'll solve this using our cross product property. So 8x equals 4 times 61. And when you solve, we get x is 30.5, so IL is 30.5. This one says ABCDE is similar to GHJDF. And since angle F back here is in the back, we need the angle that is also in the back, which is angle E. And then to solve this proportion, we'll use what they gave us here, DF, which is in the very back, and DE. Notice these are here and here. And they're going to have to coincide with GH, the first two, and it must be AB, also the first two. And then our last question for today tells us the polygons are similar, and they want us to enter the value for x and y. So first notice that these polygons are facing opposite directions, but otherwise they're going to be very similar. And we can use any parts of them that we want to solve for x and y. For the x, we definitely want to use the long part of the bottom here. So x minus 1 over 6 would equal whichever other sides we want to use. We could use the top if we wanted to, 32 over 24. And then we'll solve this using the cross product property. And when you do, what you get is that x equals 9. And then we'll do the same thing for the y's, but notice that the y is between the two right angles, so we'll need to use the 21 as well. So we'll have y plus 1 over 21, and we could use the same other side if we wanted to, 32 equals 24. And then we'll solve this using the cross product property. And what we get is that y equals 27. So x equals 9 and y equals 27. Good luck, everybody. I hope you guys do great.